Yes. Woo. Hi, you guys. Just hydrating up over here. So I am so excited for today. This has been something that I have been kind of just like planning to do for a while. I'm just like making a promise to myself to actually turn the camera on when I'm actually starting to cook for the week, just to show you what I really do. And really, because for the most part, what I do is so simple. I think so many of you guys would actually be really surprised. Hi guys. Oh, this is so fun. Look at how many of you there are. Come say hi. Come tell me where you're listening from, tuning in from today. Come say hi in the chat box. So like I said, I'm so excited to just kind of share with you a little bit more behind the scenes of like what it actually looks like when I'm cooking every week, because this may come as a huge surprise to a lot of you, but I am not somebody who just like loves cooking. I do it because eating real food is a non-negotiable in my life. And I do it because of what that enables me to do in every other part of my life. So I know that if I eat real food and if I keep it simple and nutrient dense, that allows me to like show up more fully in my life. It gives me more energy. It helps me be the best mom I possibly can, the best business owner, the best boss, the best wife, the best friend, et cetera, et cetera. So to me, cooking is really just a means to an end of like, I know that it's a non-negotiable for me to eat that way so that I can be the best version of myself. But it's not something that I like just love doing unless I have a lot of time. But to be totally honest, my life these days, it's not like I have just like all this extra free time laying around. If I did, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love cooking like for dinner parties or when I have extra time, but I'm talking about like the real nitty gritty stuff. Like, what do you do when life is busy, when you're working full time, when you're doing a million other things? I just have a feeling, and I know, hi guys, I have a feeling, and I just know like in this community that there are so many of you that are the same way. Like, you are cooking because there is a purpose behind it, and you're cooking because you know that that's how you want to live. But I also think that we have this really big misconception that in order to cook and eat well means we have to like spend all of our free time doing it, whether that's preparing it or researching around it or finding new recipes or shopping or the actual act and process of cooking. And I just think that it's, so much of a healthy life is just knowing how to cook in a way that's not going to drain you. Like, when and if you do have the time, that's great. But I think it's also really important to know how to cook in real life when it's really just about like getting good food on the table quickly and as efficiently as possible, because I also believe in just being a very good steward of your time so that you can eat well, feel great, but then also have some extra time and energy to pour into the things in your life that really do light you up, like whether that's people or it's activities or it's getting to be creative or it's other ways to take care of yourself. I just think that spending all of that time and feeling burnt out and stressed by cooking and like it's this burden, like almost like a mental burden every week to carry, I think that we approach it the wrong way. So I feel like I have figured this out. It's not perfect, as you will see. So much of what I do and how I cooked is like not about being perfect. It's just about like, that will do as long as it's real food. You don't have to overcomplicate it a ton. So today what I wanted to do is just share with you like really what I'm making this week and kind of the little strategies that I have that go into it when I'm thinking and looking at the week and figuring out what's going to work and picking stuff that makes us feel good, that's real food based, that's also delicious, that the rest of my family is going to like, because otherwise what's the point? So I just wanted to share that really I don't think it's about the amount of time we are putting into cooking, it's about the intention behind it. Does that make sense? So like using the time that you do have and starting first with the mindset that cooking is an act of self-care, right? It's like the number one version of self-care, and seeing it that way versus like this burdensome chore, I think can just change a lot. And with anything that has to do with self-care, whether it's a workout or it's like time to do like your face oil routine at night or your morning skincare or evening or taking a walk or like getting fresh air, that it's not about the time spent. You can get just as much of an impact from doing something for 10 minutes or for 20 minutes. If you have 30 minutes, that's like a real treat, you know? And that is also how I think about cooking. So if you want to just like come with me, make that mindset shift first, like this is just an active self-care, something that you're doing so that you're more fully nourished, so that you can turn around and pour that out to the world, to your family. And it just makes such a difference if you can start thinking about it in that way. Okay. You guys are the best. I really just truly have the best people in this community ever. Okay. So the plan today is I'm actually going to make 3 dishes. And right now I'm just like, oh shoot, I forgot to grab something. We'll grab it in the way, but 3 dishes. This is something that I do every week. I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make is thinking that when they are thinking about cooking or meal planning, that it has to be something that's like very meticulous and it's very all or nothing, right? Like they're all in 7 days a week, breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's like down to the nitty gritty details and it's all planned for you for the week. That stresses me out, right? I don't like to be like, that makes me feel kind of claustrophobic and blocked in. And also is not always realistic for most people. Like when real life comes up and situations change and there's activities going on at night or there's social stuff that's, you know, hopefully happening again soon for us. But my strategy on this is like pick 2 to 3 things to make for the week. And then if you have time and you have the space and you want to do more, great. But 2 to 3 dishes that are either make ahead, can be frozen, or are just like kind of make a bigger batch. So usually it's like a soup, some sort of like salad or a make ahead kind of salad deli dish. And then maybe something I could freeze or something that's like, can do multi-purpose things throughout the week so that you're not eating the same thing every night. Like nobody wants to eat the same thing every night. It just gets so boring. So I start the week usually by picking 2 to 3 things. Sometimes I make them all at once and I'm just done for the week. When I happen to have, you know, more time on the weekend or a bigger block of time, that's what I'll do. But more often than not, it's like make at least one thing for the week. So I'll usually make a soup in the beginning of the week and then like make the other things, you know, that will last 1 or 2 days. And then we go, you know, and can just be a little bit more flexible. I think a lot of times we just, again, it's like this all or nothing thing. Like you're either all planned out, all doing it, or it's like a chaotic, stressful mess for dinner. And you're just like, what's the point? I didn't try, I didn't plan. So like this week is just screwed. You know, we're just either having to order out or eat something really random from the pantry or just make the same like meals on repeat. I just think so much of that can be avoided by coming to the middle space, like the middle ground, the gray space without having to be so black and white. Yes. I mean, I know, sorry, I'm getting like all amped up because this is like just one of the biggest mistakes with our health. We do this with our workouts. We do this with our food. We do this with everything about self-care. It's just like the most extreme, but that's never sustainable. It's never sustainable. And it's never something you can keep up for the long haul. And a healthy life, honestly, you guys, is about like little tiny things that you can do daily that are not intimidating, that don't take tons of time, but they have really big impact. Okay. So we are starting with 2 to 3 recipes. I'm going to try to do it in 30 minutes. It's going to be kind of hard because I'm going to be talking at the same time. If I didn't have the cameras on, it'd be easy to do, but multitasking while I talk, because I also want to sprinkle in some extra tips too as we go that hopefully will help you in your kitchen as you're thinking about prepping and wanting to eat healthier, and just do it in a way that's a little bit more realistic, and then also will make the process more fun because it is so much more realistic. Okay, so today's recipes. I'm going to do a kale and quinoa salad with squash. It's one of my favorite recipes lately. It's one that you can make ahead and it actually gets better the next day. And then you can add different things to it. You can do it hot, you can do it cold. It's just like a beautiful dish. It serves so many purposes, and you're getting lots of good greens. And then I'm also going to do a lentil and veggie soup. And I'm actually going to do that in the Instant Pot. Because again, don't be above using a tool like an Instant Pot or a crock pot or anything that speeds up the process or takes you, like the active part of you cooking, out of it. Again, giving you time back to be and do the things that are so important to you and so nourishing to you, you know, aside from just like standing over the stove, cooking and then cleaning and then cooking and prepping and like thinking about what to make. So we're going to do a soup in the Instant Pot. If you do not have an Instant Pot, You can do this in a crock pot. If you do not have either one of those, you can do this the old-fashioned way with a great, stock pot. It will just take a little bit more hands-on cooking, but the recipes will still apply. And then I'm also going to do a white bean and chicken chili verde, which is actually one that I'm going to do to freeze so that, and you can do this either frozen or you can put all the ingredients together in a bag or in a bowl. Keep it in the fridge if you know that you will eat it pretty soon, or you can freeze it for later. And then it's something where it will be in a frozen bag. You can just put it into a crock pot, Instant Pot when you are ready, or a regular pot when you are ready to eat. You just pull it out in the morning. Okay, does that sound good? Okay, great. Let me know if you guys have questions, but I am going to go pretty fast. I'm going to look at a great knife. Really makes a big difference. I will tell you that. And I'm going to start by doing the squash here. So one of, I think, the most important things to think about when you are thinking about, cooking is just making it the most efficient that you possibly can, meaning that whatever you are going to spend time on, and it can be a minimal amount of time, whatever you are going to spend time on, make sure that it is worth it, meaning that you are actually going to get hang on, let me get a spoon. You are actually going to get so much of that time back. Real life, where are all the spoons, So just making it something where it's just super efficient. And what I mean by that is that for the amount of time that you're going to do, that it's going to be something that actually truly nourishes the cells of your body and does it well. And the best way to do that is just making sure that all the meals that you make are vegetable dominant. So just that they have some sort of vegetables involved in them. Bonus points for anything that is like a leafy green or something like a broccoli, like anything green. I kind of think about that as like double points. So, and just being, having stuff around when you're choosing your recipes that can do kind of like double duty in different types of meals. So this example, like with this kale salad, right? Kale is one of those things that I buy every single week at the store because it is so multifunctional. And I feel like that is one of the missing keys of becoming more efficient and like just a quicker and healthier cook is that you kind of start to use a lot of the same similar ingredients every week, but you can make them into like 15 different things with the same ingredient. That way you don't have to be overly super planned. You can kind of like cook based on what you feel like, based on what else you have in your fridge, based on the things that are in your pantry. I would say for the most part, my recipes are really like the same 15 things I buy at the store every week as like the basic staples, things like kale and bananas and, pasture-raised eggs and probably some ground meat and, just the things that like are just the basic staples we can turn into anything. Plus, not being afraid of using pantry staples. So I probably have about like 15 pantry staples that I always keep stocked. Things like, tomato sauce or chicken broth or a veggie broth or canned beans or dried lentils, which you'll see today. And there are so many things that you can do with the same thing. So like this kale, for example, we're using it in a salad today. But also you could use that kale for a smoothie. You could actually saute the kale with garlic and butter and use it as like a side dish. So there are just I think that can be like a really helpful thing to start thinking about are what are the things like either veggies that can last a while. So kale is one of those veggies that's like just sturdy. Same thing with squashes if they're in season, but like things that they're not going to go bad in like 2 days. And so that gives you just a little bit more flexibility with what you're doing and making, and just like having a little bit more options, I guess. So I cut up the squash. All we're going to do is just do a quick roast. Now, if I had planned this out a little bit better, I would have probably picked some other veggies to also roast at the same time. So I would do 2 trays and do cauliflower and broccoli and put it all in, or sweet potatoes or potatoes. It's never a bad idea to have roasted veggies. They just, again, can do so much. You can put them in salads. You can use them as a side dish. You can use them as a base for anything with a red sauce or pasta. So they're just one of those great, great things. Okay, so I am just tossing this with olive oil. And then I'm going to do a little salt and pepper. This is the key to, you can roast almost any vegetable like this. And they're going to go in the oven. And it's one of the nicest parts about this type of squash, delicata squash, is that you can eat the skin. So you do not need to be like peeling or like taking time. Nobody has time for that. Okay, these are going to go in right now. All right, and next we will prep the salad. So again, like this is one of the things about, as you're looking at like recipes, a lot of becoming a healthy cook is about learning like to pick the right recipes. And by the right recipes, I mean things that like can kind of last. So either make ahead dishes or stuff that can be made ahead and made in a big batch, something like a soup, and then you can change it as you go through the week. So maybe the first night you're going to do avocado on top. The next night, maybe you add some like grilled or pulled chicken or like a rotisserie chicken. The next night you could do, different like yogurt or sour cream, or you could take that same soup and put it over rice or put it over quinoa, and then you have like a quinoa bowl. So a lot of this is about like, finding the right recipe in terms of having recipes that are quick and easy, and also that they just they can do a lot of different things for you, like make it work for you, I guess is what I'm saying. So there is a little bit of a strategy, I think, when it comes to that, when I'm like looking at the week of like, okay, which things are vegetable dominant, which things have some element of like making a bigger batch or able to make ahead or something that can last a little while. So like this kale salad would definitely be that. And then what things can you do that really can just even make use of the pantry staples and the stuff in your fridge that you already have. So it's almost like a framework that you can use and then kind of like swap in and out different seasonal foods, the stuff that's on sale. So this is an example of a recipe like that. Like right now, I'm going to make this with squash because that's what's in season right now at the time of this filming. You can do the same salad in the summer, and maybe instead of squash, it's going to be like, grilled eggplant or peppers, or you can do it with tomatoes and maybe make a pesto salad instead because basil will be in season. So you can use the same dressing, you can use the same base, you could use even the same toppings, but even just swapping out one vegetable that is in season for the other could make a completely different salad, and therefore like a whole new experience for you, just using the same recipe but just tweaking like one tiny thing as you go. Okay, I know, I'm like talking so fast. You guys with me? Tracking? Okay, so I think one of the keys to making kale salads is that after you rinse it, you really want to, as best you can, dry off the leaves. So this is what will help it not get kind of wilty, but be able to hold a dressing and hold it well for a couple of different days. So let's see if I can find my... Yep, we're going to do the dressing. So I find that just even the simple act of making a dressing every week or even every other week is something that is so helpful, because when you have a good dressing, you can do so many things with it. The same dressing could be over a salad. You could also use it again, like over a grain bowl. You could also use the same thing to marinate meat. And so I kind of like tend to stick to some pretty basic, simple dressings, and this is one of them. I'm just going to make sure I'm like measuring this right. So, I forgot to say this, that if you have, registered and signed up for this, we will be sending you all of the recipes and the shopping list that goes if you want to make these 3 recipes in the same week, just kind of like a little simple 3-day meal plan for you. So that will be coming to your inbox as well, so that you can just kind of pay attention now, and you're going to see all the exact measurements and the serving sizes and everything that you need. So don't worry about that or trying to be like deciphering, like, what are you doing? Why is she not saying the amounts of these foods? So I'm adding in olive oil. I'm going to do some Dijon mustard. And again, you can do this in a glass jar if you don't have a blender. I am a big believer that you do not need super fancy tools for something to work. But I like using a blender just because it actually emulsifies it a little bit thicker and quicker, and then it seems to kind of last a little bit longer in the fridge. So if you're going to go through the effort, I feel like why not? Okay, we're going to do just a little tiny bit of maple syrup to just kind of balance out the flavors there. And then what else do we need? Trying to do too many things at once. Okay, we have our maple syrup, Dijon, olive oil. Oh, red wine vinegar. Here we go. There we go. Perfect. So I'm going to go blend this. It'll be a little loud. Don't worry. I'll be right back. Okay, so we have got this dressing, and I have the recipe here because I'm just doing 1 head of kale just to show you. If I was gonna like probably make this and have a little bit more time, let's say, I would double the recipe. So I would do 2 things of kale and double the recipe for the dressing because I would probably use it in other things. So I'm just gonna start drizzling it over the top. And here's another little secret trick, is that with clean hands, obviously, let's hope that you wash your hands. Basics, I should have said maybe at the beginning. But you're just gonna kind of like massage the kale a little bit. It's like, at first feels kind of weird, but this is actually what starts to break the kale down so it's not super bitter. So it becomes something that is like pretty enjoyable to eat versus like trying to eat a leaf of raw kale is sometimes not the most pleasant thing. And so now look, we've got the base. We are truly like ready to go. So as soon as the squash comes out, we're gonna give it a couple minutes. I'm gonna move on to the soup and then we'll come back. We're gonna top this with quinoa, cooked quinoa, the squash, some pumpkin seeds, and then it's optional to do avocado, optional to do feta if you want. So that's kind of the basics. You just throw it together. I would leave everything out but the avocado and the cheese until you're actually ready to eat, and just use it for the serving size that you want to. So a salad like this would work great in like a Tupperware almost, so that you can just keep it in there for a week. Use it with different things. You could add chicken one day if you want to. You could, again, add more avocado. You could do nuts or seeds on top. So that will be something that we'll do. So I'm going to set that aside. One dish, done, right? Let's see. Here we go. Let's go next to the lentil, veggie, and sausage soup. Let's see. Oh, you guys, you know what? I forgot to cook the quinoa. No problem. So this is just like 1 cup of quinoa. I'm going to just do 2 cups water here and some salt. I'm going to just bring it to a boil and then reduce it down to a simmer, and our quinoa will be done. So it takes about like 5 minutes or so. So we definitely have time. The trick is more so going to be not letting me forget that. Will somebody remind me that that's over there? Or the reminder may be when it starts to overflow, because I'm so in the zone right now. Okay, are you guys tracking with me? Follow me? Okay, good. Okay, is this helpful? Is this helpful to see? Yes, truly. And okay, just one other tip while we're talking about things and while I'm getting this ready for the lentil and veggie and sausage soup, that like just this, you have to just like let go of perfection. Like I know as you're looking here, as you're looking at this, as I'm like tearing things, it's not this like meticulous, like overexerted perfection thing. Like you cannot get caught up in that. Otherwise you will just like lose yourself and lose so many hours and just so many minutes that just like, it does not really matter. So this soup is a perfect example of like, when you are thinking about like, especially things that are forgiving, like most of my recipes are, things like soup, it's kind of more rustic, it's basic. It's not about like, just like having the perfect cube chop. I mean, that's great if you love it, honestly. But I feel like a lot of times that's actually what holds people back, is that they feel like they can't cook because they don't know how to do it perfectly, or like they don't know what a dice versus a cube versus this, and they don't want to mess it up. But when you use real food, it is so hard to mess it up because you're using things that are so simple and so like basic and so pure that you don't need to do much to it to make it taste good, right? There's just a few simple techniques and that's all you need. So especially when it comes to things like chopping and really like forgivable recipes where it's more just about how many veggies can you get in and how many, can you make that in like a enjoyable way, and how many different types of ways can you get veggies in without always feeling like you have to eat salad all the time. That's truly what this is about. Okay, so I chopped up, we're doing carrots, celery, and in all my recipes too, like if you want to add more veggies, great. If it calls for half a thing of, half a bunch of celery and you have a whole bunch, like just use the whole thing. It's not going to mess anything up to add more veggies in. So that's usually what happens is I'm like, wait, how did I make so much soup? Is that I like to just like use the whole thing of what I have. So right now, we did carrots and celery. Again, those are two basic ingredients that I get almost every single week at the store because they are the base of every possible soup that you could imagine, every possible soup. And they're also just great for like in the summer, I'll still get it because you can do a lot with celery with like doing a chicken salad or a tuna salad or just a great snack, honestly, with peanut butter or I don't know, just like crunchy and refreshing, and then also really great for winter and fall for cooking. Another thing I also get, which is kind of, I guess, more odd. Some of you won't like it, but I always get fennel. So because I used to have SIBO, a lot of recipes that have lots of garlic and onion in them, I used to not do well with it at all. And so I got into the habit of using fennel instead of onion. You could use both if you want to, but I usually always get fennel and carrot and celery every single week because I'm always making some sort of soup, especially in the fall or winter, but honestly, even in the summer too, because it's quick and it's easy and it's just like a full meal with everything that you need all in one. So we have celery, we have, celery, onion, carrots. Let's do the lentils now. So with lentil soup and using something like an Instant Pot, it's actually really awesome because it's like a pressure cooker. So it actually makes beans and lentils so much easier to digest because it's helping get rid of a lot of the acid that is naturally around all sorts of beans and lentils and legumes. So it's one of the healthiest ways to cook. It's also one of the least expensive. So there is also this misconception that healthy food is like really expensive food or it's really fancy food. And that is just not the case. Healthy food is just real food. It's the most basic things. This probably cost 50 cents maybe, and it's going to make like, 6 servings. So I really don't think that it has to do with that. You do not need to shop at special grocery stores or fancy grocery stores. Most of my recipes are just things you can find at any grocery store. If there's a produce department or if there's farmers nearby, you can find it, or like a bulk section. That's oftentimes all you need to make just nourishing, grounding food. It's nice to have some of the other things. They're fancy, they're nice, they're fun to like mix things up, but they are not necessities in any way. Okay, so we've got the lentils. I am going to pour in just 1 carton of chicken broth. You can use veggie broth, whatever you have. This type of soup, again, if you were doing this regular on the stovetop, you would saute the veggies first. More of the French style of cooking, saute those veggies first, then add in the lentils, then the broth, and then bring it all to a boil. I'm going to add a lot of salt and pepper. A lot of times people don't add enough salt and pepper, especially to soups. It's one of the most basic tips I could give you. You're probably not using enough salt and pepper, and sea salt is so very different than table salt. So table salt is like more processed and can actually raise your blood pressure a lot, but sea salt is a naturally harvested mineral that is actually very good for us. So there we go. This is all going in here. This is also a great recipe for like a lot of different ways that people eat. So within the category of real food, right, some people do better with more meat, you know, or like more protein. Great. You could add sausage or chicken or ground turkey or anything that you want to a soup like this, or you can keep it totally all veggie. I like to do a mixture of both. And honestly, it changes. It changes for me and my husband. It changes when I'm feeding my baby, just depending on the season, depending on how everyone's digestion is doing. You know, it's just always good to mix it up. As long as it's veggie dominant, I feel like that is the thing that usually matters the most. Okay, let's make sure we got everything in here. Lentils, chicken broth. Yep. So one of the best parts of the Instant Pot is you turn it on. I used to be anti-Instant Pot, by the way. I'm like not into extra gadgets, extra stuff. It's just, I want it simple and streamlined. But the Instant Pot is so nice. You can just set it and walk away. A crock pot is also awesome, but you have to have the forethought and planning like 8 hours ahead of what you're going to make, which is great when you're really organized, but not necessarily something that you can turn into a meal in like 30 minutes or when you're like 5 o'clock panicking of what to make for dinner. So my Instant Pot has like a set function that you can choose. So the bean button is what I'm going to use because that's what lentils are. And I'm going to turn the pressure tamper all the way pointing back from me. And that's what turns the high pressure on. And then it's set. So now that is warming up. Recipe number 2, done. We're only 15 minutes into the recipe portion. So feeling pretty proud of myself. Maybe I can reward myself with some water. Okay. Oh yeah, you guys are loving this. Ah, you're the best. Okay. Yeah, it's so true. It does not have to be fancy. You're loving these tips. Okay, amazing. So yeah, so we did the veggie soup. We did the kale and quinoa salad. Oh, I'm going to check on that quinoa. Speaking of the quinoa salad. Also going to check on this squash down here. And it's so funny. The squash cooks quick, but we might be done with this before it's ready to go. It's pretty simple. You just assemble everything at once. Okay, one more thing I forgot. Real life, you guys. Okay, forgot to get my freezer bag. So this is one of the best techniques I have for you if you are busy, that when you are making something or if you like are making one dish, pick another dish that is more what I call like a freezer meal. So with that, I mean something that is able to freeze ahead of time, like meaning you don't have to cook it and freeze it, but like you can just put it all in the bag, pop it in the freezer, and then when you are ready to cook that morning, take it out, dump it into a crock pot or an Instant Pot and add your liquid, and then you're like good to go. It's also a great way to do like if you're making a meal for a friend or people who are healing or just had a baby, or like honestly it's just nice to have the backup. That means you don't need to rely, like we all have days and times where we haven't planned anything, and just having stuff that is in your freezer is one of the most helpful tips I could possibly give you. It is truly like something that can be so game changing. Okay, so we're gonna do the white bean and chicken chili verde freezer bag style. And again, if you like know that you are gonna eat it that week, you can just store it in the fridge, all the ingredients together. That way everything is done and you are just like dumping and turning things on. And it just saves so much time. It will save you so much money from takeout. Do you know what I mean? So that's always a plus in my mind. So ingredients here, we are going to use some chicken. I'm doing some organic chicken here. This is also a great way to take advantage of foods that are on sale. So if you like see chicken on sale or a different type of meat on sale, you could find a freezer meal that has like, you know, chicken in both of them, buy it on sale, you know, make the recipe, freeze it, and then you're not having to, you're like kind of getting to save some money that way too. So I just say that too because when you are cooking for multiple different people, it can be nice. I also find these really helpful for like if you just want a little break from cooking. You could make probably 5 or 6 of these freezer meals in 1 or 2 hours and be like done and be like, tell your kids or tell your partner that you're gonna take the night off. They can just grab something, defrost it. You can actually put the directions on the front of the bag, which is really helpful. Okay, so now I'm doing 1 jar of green salsa. This is mild green salsa. So basically it's all going to marinate together. So doing it this way actually helps the flavors develop a lot more. This is a little jalapeno. If you are a little nervous about spice, you can either swap the jalapeno for a poblano pepper, which is really mild, medium. You could also just do a green pepper. I actually like to add a green pepper in just to get some veggies, but it didn't come in my grocery order this week. So we're not using it in this recipe today. But you can also do what I'm doing, which is just taking out the seeds. So the seeds are the thing that make it spicy. And then I just rinse it. You want to be careful of your hands too as well. Just don't touch your eyes. Speaking from experience, it's never that fun. Okay. So, and also too, like all of my recipes are written in this way to just modify. If you don't eat chicken, great. You can do the whole thing with white beans. You can do veggies. You can do beans. You can mix lentils in there. It just is, they're really meant to customize everything. So these are 2 cans, rinsed and drained. Oh, real life. Rinsed and drained white beans in here. Lost a few there. No problem. See? You can't like take yourself too seriously, truly, when it comes to cooking. Has to be fun, lighthearted, truly. Okay, what else are we missing? We have salsa, jalapenos, white beans, chicken, garlic, and then salt and pepper. So, I'll do 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of pepper, which now I've been cooking long enough, I can just eyeball it, but you can also measure these out. Super easy to do. Okay, and then I'm just going to throw in 3 cloves of garlic here. Okay. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Good. I'm so glad that this is helpful. This is like, I just think we overcomplicate it sometimes, and again, just like leads to that all or nothing thing. Like with cooking, with food, like it has to be perfect. It has to be homemade, gourmet meals, like a different thing every single week. You have to like reinvent the wheel. And I just don't think that's realistic or practical. And it will probably just stop you before you start anything that's like even good. You know what I mean? Okay, so now we're here. So I like to do a little like mix around here. And I will label this later, but you can see here it is. So that is a full meal done. Took me about 5 minutes. And then we're just going to seal it up here like this. These are just reusable freezer bags. Somebody was asking about that, which are great. Really awesome. Better for the environment. These like seem to work really great. You just have to make sure to really freeze them. Yeah. And then you're just going to like spread it out like this so that everything kind of can marinate easily like this. And we're going to put this in the freezer for later. Okay. So cool. Any questions that I can see? Okay. You guys are fun. This is so fun. Okay. Yeah. So truly incredible. That was 25 minutes. 25 minutes, right? That's so doable, right? Do you feel like that is doable for you? Do you feel like that is something that's like, okay, that is realistic? Like I could see myself doing that. That seems like it's just takes down, you know, like way less of takes down a lot of the burdensome parts of this. Yeah, great. Good. Awesome. So I did want to share with you guys something. If you are finding this helpful and think this is interesting and feel like, like there are probably some things I could use with this or try this stuff at home, and maybe taking a slightly different approach to how you have been meal planning and how you have been cooking. I'm so excited to share something with you guys I have been working on to just help, like not only with the recipe side of things, because I have 2 cookbooks. You guys know that I use them. I love them all the time. But what I hear the most that people really struggle with is the full process of this process that is not only like just about the cooking and the recipes, but it's finding the right recipes, vetting them for you, like looking for different food sensitivities, or if you have allergies, or if you are, going through a healing journey of some kind, like vetting the things out, what's going to work for you and the people that you are cooking with. And then also thinking about just the mental load of what it is every week to figure out what to cook, and doing so in a way that's not all or nothing and is not something that is just so overwhelming that we can't do it every single week. So I have been working on something for the last year. I'm like kind of nervous. I'm nervous. I just want to share it with you guys because I hope, and my intention is that this is going to be a tool that will help so many of you like streamline and simplify the entire process of finding inspiration daily and weekly for the things that you need, being able to vet and customize and sort, then also speed up the process of the actual execution of the cooking itself, including the shopping list and the grocery store and all of the kind of annoying parts of meal planning and getting delicious food on the table and quickly. There's so much that comes before that. So I just wanted to create a way that people could live a healthy life, but without using all of your free time to get to that. Does that make sense? Ooh, I have something in my eye. There we go. Just a hair. Okay. So I want to share something with you. This is something that I have been working on just behind the scenes for, again, over a year, that I think is going to be something that will really help a lot of you. And that's like just truly my hope. And so this is something I created called the Simply Real Health Cooking Club. So when you sign in, I just want to make sure everyone can see this. Can everyone see? Yeah. Okay. So when you sign in to the cooking club, this is a full-blown cooking membership site, like a meal planning tool and membership site. So coming down here, I'm just going to like scroll through this really quickly, like set up by breakfast, lunch, different dinner ideas, make ahead meals, one pot meals, salads, soups, crock pot and instant pot, smoothies, snacks, baked goods, healthy baked goods, desserts, a baby and kids section, appetizers, side dishes, cocktails and mocktails. So these are like all of the recipes. So not just recipes in the cookbook, but like all of the recipes I have ever created and done, which is over 1,000 recipes. Like, I don't know how that is even possible, but this is the biggest thing that I can think of that's going to be a little bit more of an actual interactive experience and something that is going to help you customize to exactly what you need. Again, this is meant to help you save so much time. So let's say you're coming in here and you want to search either by, you have, broccoli, let's say, that's about to go bad. So you can type it in here and it's going to pull up all of the recipes, all the easy real food recipes that have broccoli as like one of the main ingredients. Let's say that you are, looking for a dish and you want to search by, let's look for, some of these are not pulling right now. I don't know why. Of course, when I go to show it, they must be working on the back end of this right now. Classic. So let's look for, there we go. Dinner recipes. So 123, that's more like it. So this is going to pull up all of the dinner recipes that you could possibly want or see to help keep you inspired. Let's say you want to search for dinner recipes that are also egg-free. Maybe you have an egg allergy. And so it's going to pull this and vet them all for you. Isn't that cool? So this is something that just, again, like fully customizable. So no matter what you need or looking for, let's say you want to make a soup this week, and maybe we don't need soup and dinner, but just a soup, maybe soup for lunch. Okay, it's going to go through and pull here. You can also then categorize, maybe you need a soup to be nut-free or dairy-free or contain certain ingredients, right? Then that's not even the best part. It's not even the best part. Let me show you. So let's say you come here and you're like, okay, great. Like I'm going to do this chicken enchilada soup. That looks awesome. So you go in here and it allows you to save to your recipe favorites. So once you go through and you can browse, let's go back. We'll go browse for another recipe. So let's say you're going to do that soup and like, let's take a look at, this apple cinnamon oatmeal looks great. I'm going to make that this week for breakfast. Again, it's all quick and easy. You can come to the serving sizes and you can change the serving sizes. Isn't that amazing? So you can change these serving sizes up and down depending who you're cooking for, meaning that you will not waste food, right? You will not have to be like going through the mental process of like, okay, double for this, quadruple this one. Okay, the kids are not here for this meal. Like just being able to customize exactly what you need. Or if you're cooking for just one person, right? You do not need to buy ingredients to make eight different things if that's not what you need, right? So this is just fully going to give you that, option. So we're going to add that to recipes. Then this is the best part. Okay, so then you would come into your recipe favorites, and this allows you to make collections. So all of the favorites are listed here. So I have some in here that I've been doing and playing around with. You can also make just different categories. So let's say I made a little category for this class that we're doing today, and you can come over here. So these are the recipes we did: the kale quinoa salad with squash and apricots, left out the apricots, the lentil veggie sausage soup. I just did it veggie today, and then the white bean and chicken chili verde. So again, you can like change, right? Serving sizes can go up or down. Let's say you only want to do the salad for 4 people, but you want to do the soup for 8 people, so you have more to freeze. Then you're going to say create shopping list, right? You can adjust, here we go. And then you can pick, US or metric. You can generate the shopping list. Look at this, you guys. It's all done for you. Literally. So all 3 of the recipes in one shopping list that then you can then upload if you're going to do a grocery order, which is what I recommend. Or if you're going to the store, it's already done for you. Isn't that amazing? So you can create different types of like collections here. You could do a collection like for every week that you're going to do some sort of meal plan. You could do something for if you're going to be hosting a dinner party and you want to be able to change the serving sizes up or down. You can put like, your favorite so that you're not recreating the wheel every single time you go to cook. You could just come back in and have these saved collections that work, that are vetted, and made for you. You could search just entirely by make ahead meals or by freezer meals so that if you did have a little bit of time. I don't know why these are not loading, these two, but if you had, there's like hundreds of recipes in here. If you had time that you could then make 2 or 3 things, or 2 or 3 of the freezer meals at once. So this is just something I am like so excited about, because I feel like this is going to be something that just will help. If you're busy, will help you get multiple hours of your time back every single week. And I cannot think of a bigger gift than that, because how you spend your time is how you spend your life, like truly. And the way when I have surveyed this, this is something where most people, if they are going to cook, they spend about 2 to 4 hours every single week, not even cooking, but all of the prep or thought or shopping or things that come before that. So 2 to 4 hours a week, which is either 96 hours a year or 192 hours a year. And like, think for a second, like just what you could do with that time back. 92 hours a year, 192 hours a year. Like, it is amazing to me to think about that. Like, you could go on a walk. You go on a really long walk. You could go on a hike for a couple hours. And this is usually prime time. This is like time on your weekend, right? This is time when you're normally with your family, or that you could be like rejuvenating or resting or taking care of things that are like on your heart or on your soul. Oh yeah, I forgot the quinoa. I'll be right back. Important things, right? So you could like freaking take a nap, you could take a bath, like you could go on like some sort of family adventure or be making memories with your kids. This is big stuff that we're talking about. And so I, as somebody who feels so like protective of my time and just wanting to be efficient with it and use it for the things that matter and stop wasting time on the things that I could get help with, especially for something that is like an easy thing to get help with that doesn't cost a lot of money, but for the payback that it gives you, for those amount of hours back, for the amount of mental headspace that then frees up, like, remember that mental load, like that is a mental load to carry, and somebody has to do it for the family, but there is no reason why you have to do it alone. So that's why I'm so excited about this. This is like one of the things that I feel like you can just help us cook more intentionally. It can help us eat better. But again, without having it be this burdensome process or taking up all of our time, because I think there are so many other ways that we can use that time in a way that like actually helps us. Like, think about that, like actual time to rest, on the weekend, like actual time to invest in the things that make your heart happy and your soul happy. Like, when do we really give ourselves time to do that? We don't, because we're like doing chores and checking off the box all the time. But I think that there's so much more to a healthy life than just doing that, just doing tasks or chores. Like, it leads to just burnout and fatigue and just being frustrated with cooking. And then that creates that all or nothing mentality where we're like, all right, let's just like order out. And you end up spending so much money and so much time and wasting so much food, versus having a little bit of help on the things that are the most annoying, like the parts that would be the nicest to kind of offload or have some tool to help you through that. And that's really what the cooking club is about. And I do also want to say that this is something that is new. And my vision for this community is that this is something that will grow with the community. And so as the first time that I'm releasing it and opening it up, I'm going to open it up and then close it, because I want to have a group of pilot testers so that you can help me create this with you. I'm going to be adding new recipes as we go. This will be the first place that new recipes go. We'll be taking polls and surveys, like what kind of recipes do you want more of? Do you want more freezer stuff? Do you want more make ahead stuff? Like, what sort of do you want more demos like this? Do you want something? So like, this is a full, really exciting collaborative process that I'm just so thrilled about. This is, instead of doing another cookbook, I want something that's more engaged and interactive and just has this community sense around it, and creating that as like a movement that we can eat healthy, and we can also have time to do the things that we love to do and that feed our souls. Like, they're not mutually exclusive. Yeah. Oh, you guys are so excited. Good. Oh my gosh. Good. I'm so glad. Okay. Oh my gosh. The best part. How could I forget? The best part about this is the price. So I want this to be an option that is the most affordable for as many people as possible. So this is like how normal pricing goes. If you have done a meal plan with me, meal plans are usually 4 weeks, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, just for 4 weeks, is $99. Okay, this option, I am going to give access for a year. So that's 52 weeks instead of 4 weeks for $97. I know. So literally you get like the entire year. I want it to be something where you can use it as much as you want or as little as you want. You could use it every single day. You could go in there and plan your full week out and adjust serving sizes and get your full shopping list and go. You can use it kind of sporadically, like, okay, let's just pick 2 or 3 things. Let me use it for inspiration. Let me browse. Let me change and adjust some things here. Let me save it so that you're not doing the work over and over and over again. So it's, when it comes down to it, so it's $97 for the year if you sign up and want to do it in full, or I'm going to have an option if you just want to try it. If you just want to do monthly, it's going to be $9.99 a month. So $10 a month, which is about $2 a week to literally get, again, 92 to 100 or 96 to 192 hours of your time back. So I want this to be, giving you the experience of stress-free meal planning, showing you how to make real food that's realistic, and just continually like adding things so that you never feel in a rut. On the top, when I was showing you the site, it wasn't pulling through, but I'm also going to have a section that has the weekly 3, right? So like 3 recipes if you don't want to think about it and you're like, what's Sarah making? Okay, I can do that. And then you can just generate that shopping list easily. So it's going to be just multifunctional, I guess, and just helping you be more flexible with real life without having to be so completely fully planned or in like chaos crazy mode, that you could, if you feel chaotic and crazy, you could log in, the next day and just like pick a couple things and like kind of right the ship right then and there without, again, letting things get to the point of like going so far down the path that you almost just don't know what to do. So my true hope with this, like if you're watching this, you could be a part of this founding group that I'm going to run. And I have a feeling that the price is going to go up because I have a feeling people are going to love this experience and just get so much use out of it and so much value and so much of your time back and your energy and your headspace and that mental load back. I don't think it's something that you need to carry, on its own. So really for the price of one meal plan, you're getting an entire year of help and support and ideas and encouragement and just taking away all of the parts that kind of like suck about meal planning and doing it in a way that will help you go from like chaotic to calm and hopefully just create so much more freedom and time and extra space in your life for the things that matter the most. Yeah. Okay. I am going to put the link. I know you guys are so excited. You're so sweet. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to share it with you. Yeah, it's been, as you can imagine, that means inputting every single recipe, thousands of them. So I'm like, I've got to be dedicated to this cause. If I'm like, I really, really want to help people. I really want this to be simple. I really want this to be actionable and interactive, not just recipes, but like, here's how to actually put them into action in your life and what that can change, about how you show up in your energy and just the time and space you have for other things. So yeah, good. Okay, I'm going to put the link for it if you guys do want to check it out. We'll also send it in the email after this, after you finish watching. But you can I'll put the link here below the video for you to check out. And I'm just so excited. And I feel like no matter what, I just hope that this was helpful to see and that you got some really good tips that you can take into your life and really just like encouragement that you can do this, that this does not have to be something that is a chore. It can be something that once you lighten the load can be fun and it can be playful and it can be something that you can do. You can do it, and you can do it a couple times a week. That's all I think it really takes to have a healthy life and then to impact the others around you and to fill yourself up and nourish yourself in a way that you can then pour out to the world, to your family, to the world, and for who you are here to be. So I love you guys so much, so much, so much. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope that this was helpful. If you use these recipes, let me know. I want to know how they go. Okay. I love you guys so much. Have a great day.